Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take the sources you send us, the things you're curious about, and we really dig in.
Yep, we pull out the key insights, those surprising facts, basically everything you need to get a solid understanding, but, without feeling overwhelmed.
Exactly. And today, we've got some fascinating excerpts, classic tales, really, about the early adventures of the Pandavas and some very memorable characters they meet.
It's some foundational stuff.
Right. So our mission today is to explore these stories, figure out what's really going on, what makes them tick, without getting bogged down. Let's dive in.
Okay, well, what jumps out at me right away is how this world blends the natural and the supernatural, almost seamlessly. It's not just about people interacting. You've got these powerful, otherworldly beings directly influencing things right from the start.
Absolutely. And that brings us straight to our first bit, the encounter with Hidimva.
Ah, yes. Hidimva the Rakshasa.
So here's this Rakshasa woman, Hidimva. Her brother, Hidimva, also a Rakshasa, sends her to basically kill the Pandavas while they're sleeping.
Pretty straightforward mission, you'd think.
You'd think, but then there's a twist. She sees Bhima and the way he's described, his presence. It's powerful, and suddenly her brother's orders are, well...
Complicated. Yeah, she's completely struck by him.
It's fascinating, isn't it? This immediate, overwhelming attraction just overrides what seemed like a clear duty. What do you make of that?
Really, it highlights his tension, right?
Yeah.
Even these powerful non-human beings, Rakshasas, they show these very human impulses. Love, attraction.
Overriding loyalty to family, even.
Exactly. Her prioritizing this potential husband over her brother, it says a lot about personal connection, even in this kind of fantastical setting. It makes you question the nature of duty itself, You're always absolute.
Or can feelings just rewrite the rules? And her approach, wow, it's direct.
No kidding.
She transforms herself, right? Becomes this beautiful woman decked out in celestial ornaments, the text says, like signs of divine beauty or power.
Yeah, it's quite the makeover.
She approaches Bhima modestly, apparently, but her proposal is anything but modest.
Not at all. She lays it all out there.
She offers him escape, a life hidden away in the mountains, even the power to fly. I mean, that's quite an opening line.
It really is. Speaks to the intensity, doesn't it? And it's interesting how she uses her own supernatural abilities as, selling points.
That's a great point. Is it just love, or is there strategy there too? Like, look what I can offer you.
I think it's probably a bit of both. The urgency feels real, but mentioning the escape, the power, that's definitely persuasive.
Of course, things get tense pretty quickly when Big Brother Hidimva shows up.
Understandably, he's not happy.
Not happy is an understatement. The description is vivid red eyes, bristly hair, huge mouth. He sees his sister transformed, cozying up to the target.
Yeah, not the family reunion he was expecting. He immediately starts making threats. Toward her, towards the Pandavas. The danger level just spikes.
And Hidimva tries to get them out fast, right? Offers to literally carry them away on her hips.
Shows her strength and her panic.
But Bhima, being Bhima,
Yeah.
he's not getting carried anywhere.
Nope. He steps right up.
Starts taunting Hidimva. Basically says, not on my watch. Vows to protect Hidimva. His protective side just flares up.
Which leads straight into this brutal fight.
Oh, yeah. The description of Bhima's rage, whirling Hidimva's body around and around.
It's intense. Shows that incredible, almost primal strength he has.
Arjuna even cheers him on, apparently, and then Bhima finishes it, displaying the body, making a statement.
Definitely making a statement. It establishes their power, even though they're still in disguise. But then afterwards, the reactions are interesting.
How so?
Well, Bhima seems almost ready to just dismiss Hidimva, like, okay, threat dealt with, moving on.
Right, but Yudhishthira steps in.
Exactly. Yudhishthira, always focused on dharma, on virtue, points out, she's harmless now, her brother's gone, the threat is neutralized.
That makes sense. And then Hidimva makes her plea directly to Kunti, the Pandavas' mother.
Which is quite moving, actually. She confesses her love for Bhima, asks to be accepted, promises she can be useful, help them travel fast, serve them.
She's playing the social game, trying to integrate.
Definitely. She's appealing to Kunti's motherly side, but also pointing out the practical benefits. Hey, I have superpowers. I can help.
And Bhima, what's his take?
He agrees, but with a condition. A bit detached, maybe. He says he'll stay with her until she bears him a son.
Pragmatic. A compromise.
Seems like it. And their life together, for that time, sounds almost idyllic. Beautiful places, Hidimva changing shape whenever she wants.
Like a honeymoon phase with shape shifting.
Pretty much. and it leads to the birth of their son, Gatotkacha.
Ah, Gatotkacha. He's quite the character from birth, isn't he?
Immediately. Described as having this fearsome look, but also incredible strength. And he matures instantly, totally devoted to the Pandavas from day one.
So not your average baby. He's like born a warrior ally.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It really highlights the result of this human-Rakshasa union. He gets these extraordinary powers, and that connection to the Rakshasa world will be important for the Pandavas down the line.
Okay, so that chapter closes. What happens next? Where did they go?
They continue wandering and eventually land in a town called Ekachakra.
Ekachakra, right. And they're still in disguise.
Still in disguise, living as Brahmanas, they find shelter with a local Brahmana family living on alms. And we get another mention of Dima's legendary appetite.
He eats a lot. Got it. But this quiet life doesn't last, does it? Their host is in distress.
Yeah, serious distress. Turns out there's another Rakshasa problem here, Vaka.
Vaka the Rakshasa. What's his deal?
This time, it's the whole town suffering. Vaka demands huge amounts of food, buffaloes included, and one human sacrifice delivered along with the food.
A human sacrifice. Regularly.
Regularly. The duty rotates among the families in the town, and it's the host Brahmana's turn.
Oh no, that's horrific.
It really is. The text describes his despair beautifully. He's facing this impossible choice which family member to send. His wife, his daughter, his young son. He even thinks about killing himself instead.
God, that's heavy. The wife and daughter offer themselves, right?
They do. Both volunteer to go. And even the little son, in this sort of innocent, heartbreaking way, says he'll go fight the Rakshasa with a blade of grass.
Oh, bless him. It just shows the terror they're living under.
Absolutely. The depth of their love and their desperation.
But then Kunti overhears all this.
Yes, Kunti steps in. Even disguised, even as a guest. Her protective, maybe regal nature comes out. She offers help.
And she knows just the guy for the job.
She tells Bhima. And Bhima naturally is ready to go. He never backs down from a fight, especially if his mother asks.
But Yudhishthira has doubts again.
He does. He's worried.
Yeah.
He sees the bigger picture. Bhima is crucial for their future, for reclaiming their kingdom. Is it worth risking him for this town, for this family?
It's that constant tension, compassion versus strategy.
Exactly. Because Kunti insists, and Bhima goes.
And Bhima's approach to Vaka.
Yeah.
Classic Bhima.
Totally. He gets to Vaka's place, starts by eating all the food meant for the Rakshasa.
Just sits there munching away.
And taunting him, calling him out. Not exactly subtle diplomacy.
Definitely not. And Vaka's appearance is meant to be terrifying, right?
Yeah. Huge body, fiery eyes, red beard.
Yeah.
Mouth from ear to ear.
Yeah.
Pure nightmare fuel, designed to intimidate.
But Bhima's not intimidated.
Not in the slightest. The taunting works, Vaka comes out furious, and they fight.
And it's another epic battle.
Huge. They're literally pulling up trees to use as clubs, the ground shaking. It's a massive clash of strength.
And then Bhima wins again.
He does. He overpowers Vaka, breaks his back. Brutal.
And he doesn't stop there, does he?
No. He warns Vaka's relatives, any other Rakshasas around, telling them to stop the cannibalism, stop terrorizing people, laying down the law.
So he liberates the town. How do the townspeople react?
They find Vaka's body the next day. They're overjoyed, obviously, but also mystified. Who did this?
And the host Brahmana?
He keeps the Pandavas secret. He tells everyone it was some powerful, visiting, high-souled Brahmana who helped him out.
Protecting their disguise. So the Pandavas stay on in Ekachakra for a while.
They do. And while they're there, another Brahmana guest arrives, one who tells stories.
Important backstory time.
Exactly. This guest tells them about the birth of Drona, the weapons master.
Okay, Drona. Key figure later on.
Very key. How he got his amazing weapons from Rama Jamadanya, and crucially, his falling out with King Drupada of Panchala.
Drupada. His name keeps coming up. What was the issue?
They were childhood friends. When Drupada became king, he basically snubbed Drona, denied their friendship because of Drona's poverty then. Drona felt deeply humiliated.
Ouch. That stings. And Drona gets his revenge later, right? Using his students, the Pandavas and Kauravas.
He does. He has them defeat Drupada and takes half his kingdom. But Drupada, now he's humiliated and wants revenge on Drona.
So it's a cycle of revenge. How does Drupada plan his revenge?
He wants a son powerful enough to kill Drona. So he seeks out these super powerful Brahmanas, Yaja and Upayaja, to perform a special sacrifice.
The sacrifice to get a specific kind of child.
Exactly. And it works spectacularly. From the sacrificial fire emerged not one, but 2 children.
Miraculous births. Who are they?
First, a son, fully armed, radiant. He's named Drishtadyumna.
Drishtadyumna, and he has a destiny.
A specific one. A voice from the sky proclaims he's born to kill Drona.
Wow, okay. And the second child?
A daughter emerges, incredibly beautiful. She's named Krishna, but we know her better as Draupadi.
Draupadi and her destiny.
Also proclaimed from the sky, she will be the cause of the destruction of many Kshatriyas, many warriors.
So a son destined to kill Drona, a daughter destined to cause a massive war. That's quite the outcome from one sacrifice.
Talk about high stakes. Even their names reflect this.
Yeah.
Dreshtadyumna means audacious or bold. Krishna means dark or dark-complexioned.
So the Pandavas hear all this backstory while still in disguise in Ekachakra, and then they get another important visitor.
Yes, the great sage Vyasa himself shows up. Their grandfather, technically.
Vyasa. What does he tell them?
He comforts them, tells them their time of hardship won't last forever, and crucially, he reveals Draupadi's destiny regarding them.
Which is?
He explains that due to events in her past life, she is destined to be the wife of all 5 Pandava brothers.
All 5. Wow, okay. That explains. Well, it sets up what happens later. Does he justify it?
He essentially provides the divine sanction for it, says it's preordained. And based on this, he tells them, you need to go to Panchala.
To Draupadi's kingdom, where Draupadi is.
Precisely, for her Swayamvara.
Okay, so section 3. Journey to Panchala and the Swayamvara itself, they set off with their mother, Kunti.
Right. And on the way, another interesting encounter. On the banks of the river Ganga, they run into a Gandharva.
A Gandharva? What's that, like a celestial musician?
Sort of. Celestial beings, sometimes associated with music, sometimes warriors, often possessors of magic or illusions. This one is named Angaraparna.
And is he friendly?
Not initially. He's quite proud, considers the nighttime riverbanks his territory, and challenges the Pandavas for traveling there after dark without permission.
Another challenge. Who takes him on?
Arjuna steps up. Angaraparna attacks with his powers, but Arjuna counters with a fiery weapon, Agnyastra.
And Arjuna wins.
Decisively. Angaraparna is defeated and humbled. His wife, Kuvanasi, actually pleads with Yudhishthira for her husband's life.
And Arjuna shows mercy.
He does. He spares Angaraparna. And the Gandharva, impressed and perhaps grateful, offers Arjuna a gift.
What does he offer?
The science of illusions, called chakshushi, maybe some kind of clairvoyance or mental projection power. Plus, he gives them these amazing celestial horses that never tire.
Wow, quite a reward for winning a fight. Does the Gandharva explain why he was hostile at first?
He does. He says he censured them because they were traveling without wives, without a proper home or ashrama, and importantly, without a Brahmana priest leading them. It shows the social norms.
Interesting. So even celestial beings care about proper procedure.
Apparently. But he also reveals he knows who they are, talks about their Kuru ancestors, their virtues. He tells them the story of Tapati and King Samvarana.
Why that story?
He explains why he sometimes addresses Arjuna as Tapatya, a descendant of Tapati. It's another way these stories layer in history and lineage.
And does he tell any other significant stories?
Oh, yes. He delves into the famous intense rivalry between the great sages Viswamitra and Vasishtha.
Ah, that's a huge one.
Yeah.
What parts does he highlight?
He talks about the incident with Nandini, Vasishtha's wish-fulfilling cow, which Viswamitra tried to take by force. It really demonstrates the immense power Brahmanas could wield through their ascetic practices. Vasishtha easily defeated Viswamitra's entire royal army.
Shows that spiritual power trumped military power.
Exactly. And he tells the story of King Kalmashapada.
The one who became a cannibal.
That's the one. Cursed by Vasishtha's son, Saktri, and then manipulated by Viswamitra.
Right. Viswamitra used the curse to get back at Vasishtha by having Kalmashapada eat Vasishtha's sons. It's pretty dark.
Very dark. And it leads to another curse from a Brahmani whose husband Kalmashapada ate. She cursed the king that he would die if he ever approached his wife for intimacy.
Which creates a succession problem.
Precisely. And that's why later, Vasishtha himself is requested by the cursed king Kalmashapada to father a child with the queen, Madhyanti.
To continue the lineage because the king couldn't due to the curse. And that child was Asmaka.
Correct. And the Gandharva also touches upon the birth of Parasara, Vyasa's father, and his initial anger wanting revenge against Rakshasas before Vasishtha calmed him down.
So many interconnected stories explaining lineages, curses, rivalries. It's dense.
It really builds the world tapestry. But the Gandharva also gives practical advice.
What's that?
He recommends a specific priest for them, Damya. Says they need proper spiritual guidance.
And they take his advice.
They do. Arjuna, in friendship now, actually gives his fiery weapon to Angaraparna.
A trade. Illusions and horses for a fire weapon.
Seems like a gesture of goodwill. Then the Pandavas find Damya and install him as their priest. They feel more optimistic now, maybe regaining their kingdom and winning Draupadi feels more possible.
So, fully equipped spiritually and with some intel, they finally arrive in Panchala.
Yes, still disguised as Brahmanas. They find lodging in a potter's house, keeping a low profile.
And then comes the main event, Draupadi's Swayamvara.
The big day. The scene is set. A huge arena, packed with kings and princes from all over, all vying for Draupadi. Drupada and Tristadumna are there. Draupadi herself is presented.
And Tristadumna announces the challenge.
He does. There's this incredibly stiff divine bow. The challenge is to string it and then shoot 5 arrows through a revolving mechanism to hit a target high above.
Sounds impossible.
Practically. King after king tries. Famous warriors, powerful rulers, they can't even string the bow.
They all fail. Humiliating for them.
Completely. The tension builds. Then Karna steps up.
Karna, the great warrior, but son of a charioteer, Asuta.
Exactly. And he strings the bow. Easily. He's about to take the shot.
But
Draupadi speaks out. Loudly. I will not wed Asuta.
oof. She rejects him based on his birth.
She does. A really controversial, pivotal moment. Karna is stunned, laughs bitterly, and walks away. The social rules are rigid.
So with even Karna failing or being rejected, who's left?
It seems like no one can do it. Then, from the crowd of Brahmanas, Arjuna steps forward.
Still in disguise? What's the reaction?
Shock, murmurs. Some Brahmanas doubt him, others are hopeful. Can this unknown Brahmana succeed where mighty kings failed?
And can he?
He walks up to the bow, prays silently, strings it effortlessly, draws it, and twang, 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 sends the 5 arrows straight through the mechanism, hitting the target.
He does it
The
incredible.
place erupts. The Brahmanas cheer wildly, waving their deerskins. Drupada is overjoyed. Draupadi clearly looks pleased. Flowers rain down.
But the kings, they can't be happy.
Not at all. They're furious, humiliated, cheated, they feel. How could a Brahmana win the princess meant for a Kshatriya king?
What do?
They decide to attack Drupada.
Yeah.
Chaos is about to break out.
But Arjuna and Bhima are there.
Right. They step forward to defend Drupada. Bhima, famously, just rips a whole tree out of the ground to use as a weapon.
Just rips up a tree. Okay. That probably gets their attention.
Definitely. And it's at this moment, seeing Bhima and Arjuna fighting side by side, that Krishna, who's also present with his brother Balarama, recognizes them.
Ah, Krishna knows. Does he intervene?
He does. He steps in and speaks to the angry kings. He basically says, hold on, fellas. This Brahmana won her fair and square according to the rules of the contest. Let it go.
And they listen to Krishna.
They do. Krishna has that authority. He convinces them to back down, acknowledging Arjuna's rightful victory. The fight is averted.
So Arjuna has won Draupadi. What happens next?
He and Bhima take Draupadi and head back to the potter's hut where they're staying with Kunti and their brothers.
And they arrive and call out to Kunti.
Yes, they call out, Mother, look what we've brought today, referring to her as alms, as they usually brought food donations.
And Kunti without looking.
Without looking, busy inside, she calls back, whatever it is, share it equally among yourselves, my sons.
Oh dear. That's consequential.
Hugely consequential. She turns, sees Draupadi, and realizes what she's just said. It creates this massive dilemma. How can they possibly share one wife?
It seems impossible against all custom. How do they resolve it?
Yashira takes charge. He remembers Vyasa's words, the prophecy that she was destined for all 5 of them. He proposes that Kunti's word must be honored and Vyasa's prophecy fulfilled. Draupadi will be the common wife of all 5 brothers.
An extraordinary decision, justified by prophecy and their mother's unwitting command.
Exactly. It sets up their unique family structure. And shortly after, Krishna and Balarama actually pay them a visit at the potter's hut.
In secret.
In secret.
Oh.
They confirm they know who the Pandavas are, offer their support and congratulations, but advise them to stay hidden for a little while longer.
Meanwhile, Drupada, the father, must be wondering what's going on.
He is. He sent his son, Tristadumna, to secretly follow the Brahmana who won Draupadi.
Did Tristadumna find them?
Yes. He hid near the potter's hut, overheard them talking about weapons and battles, clearly Kshatriyas, not Brahmanas, and saw them interacting as brothers with Kunti. He rushes back to Drupada.
And tells him
Everything he saw and heard. Drupada is hugely relieved and thrilled, actually. He was desperately hoping it was Arjuna who had won his daughter.
So the secret's out to Drupada, but not yet to the world. What a cliffhanger.
It really is. It sets the stage for the next phase.
Okay, so let's wrap up this deep dive. We've covered a lot. Encounters with Rakshasas, Hidimva, and Vaka.
Bhima's incredible strengths really shining through in those.
Right. Their time living in disguise in Ekachakra, dealing with community threats.
And then the whole dramatic sequence in Panchala. The backstory of Drona and Drupada, the miraculous births.
And culminating in that incredibly tense Swayamvara, Arjuna's victory, and the completely unique marriage arrangement.
So many twists and turns. Hidimva falling for Bhima, Karna's rejection, Kunti's accidental command. It's nonstop.
Absolutely. And these stories, they give us such insights into the characters, don't they? Their motivations, their strengths, their flaws, and the world they lived in.
A world with very different rules sometimes, very complex social structures. And this constant interplay between human action and, well, destiny or divine intervention.
Which brings us to our final thought for you, the listener. We've seen characters make some really unusual choices, face bizarre circumstances, guided by duty, desire, prophecy. So what does the concept of dharma, duty, righteousness really mean in this context?
Yeah, it's not always straightforward, is it? Given everything we've just talked about, a Rakshasi wife, a polyandrous marriage, gods and curses influencing events, how did they navigate righteousness?
Something to think about. What can these ancient stories, with all their complexities, tell us about human relationships, choices, and societal norms, maybe even today?
Definitely food for thought.
Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.